So if we will talk about the lessons in the pandemic, so in Kazakhstan, as in other countries, distance learning were immediately began in March 2020. So basically not all schools were ready to start this online learning because of the lack of opportunities for some students to study. For example, lack of laptops, cameras, stable internet connection, and so on. So it was a main problem, I think, across the Kazakhstan. Then our Ministry of Education and Science, around 5 months, they solved this issue by supporting that families, poor families, and who don't have an opportunity by giving them new laptops for academic year. So for example, in my school, in Nazarbayev Intellectual School, we started teaching lessons and the duration of the lesson was around 20 minutes. So I think in general it was across the world because it's a 20 minutes duration was main part in order to reduce this risk of students' health because it was enough, I think, time. So also the teachers, I think, as a teacher, I face that I need to take into account also characteristics of my students in the class because I need to prepare materials and concentrate, yeah, on all the students. So it was a main maybe call for all teachers. If we'll talk about the motivation of the students, it was low motivation for study. I think because of students now out of the classroom, they don't have this communication with the teacher and other classmates. Also, according to Forbes Education, I think this study was mentioned that around 84% of teachers and 68% of children were stressed by this online learning in the beginning. So, and I think this also we can highlight some of the difficulties. Yeah, it's a reducing level of responsibility also from the students because maybe it's affected from this online learning. Also was a low concentration in the classroom. Preparation of for online lessons takes more time than offline because you need a lot of time to connect and everything. Lack of practical knowledge, I think, of students and also teachers because of the working this in internet space. Maybe another reason was as I saw in my own country, we're replacing like a problem with practical skills. So I mean here medical and pedagogical practice working only live. So it's maybe impossible to do it online. So it was also another problem. So also I understood that there is another invisible problem in the class. When you are studying whole day online, it's affecting on your health, as I mentioned before. And in order to improve your quality of your lesson and make your lessons effective, it should be there are time for physical training sessions. I think around maybe 5 minutes to make a gymnastics, yeah, for eyes, and then also for physical gymnastic with the students, maybe some kind of warm-ups in the class. So it will be motivating. Also, it's time for these minute sets of exercise, yeah. So it was another issue here. And also another great call was on May 2020, when Varkey Foundation organized the International Pedagogical Summit. It was Teachers of the World Unite, as I remember. And it brought together more than 3,200 participants from 75 countries. And also, as an expert, I was from the Republic of Kazakhstan. And Varka Foundation gave me opportunity to moderate one session and be a facilitator, to talk with other teachers about their their practice in the class, what kind of methods are useful right now. And another main question was how to come a solution for this after pandemic, how to reduce the gaps in students' knowledge. So it was a great opportunity. And also my main role, as I remember, was uh, as a translator for Russian-speaking community at the same time. So we talked about effective strategies, and this Global Virtual Summit was supporting inter-school community, which was really great to hear teachers' voice, what kind of difficulties they have, and we understood that we are talking the same language of education, and how to solve that problems. So if we will talk about the my own experience, how to improve that problems, improve the quality of the lessons then. So the lessons could be, I think, also the big, maybe positive thing in online learning, that parents also can attend your lesson. So they will be really as a members of inter-school community, because they can just hear, they can see their students, their progress. Also, by receiving the feedback from the parents, you can just change your methods, you can just change your formats of the lesson. So I think it was a very useful, because I was working very productive with my parents, because I'm always supporting my students who are graduating. So they will take external exam in the future. So that's why it should be very hard work together. So also, I think, and then in September 2021, we returned to normal class, to offline training. And it was a great time, because now I can see that, I can see my students, my passion is just working with them. But another thing that we face, that difficulties because of the gaps in their knowledge. As I mentioned before, it's not enough 20 minutes for support students to develop their skills via online, because you're loaded by the learning objectives and so on. So here, an excellent tool was for me to monitoring students' knowledge from previous grade, then analyze them, and make an individual plan for my students. So in order to support and reduce that students' gaps. So then I saw what kind of learning objectives they are struggling, what kind of skills, and how I can support them. So, and via this first and second term already, I was in the end of each lesson preparing that small tasks from previous academic year, in order to remember and again explain for my students. I think it's always very supportive and helpful, because in my department we experienced this work like maybe more than 3 years, by analyzing students' results all the time. So by analyzing, you can see the way of dynamics of your students, and where is the lack of knowledge, how to work with them, how to just support and develop their strength, and how to support in their weaknesses. So it was, I think, great. So maybe also I can mention here the reflection diary. Maybe it is another great tool for teachers, when you can reflect and analyze your pedagogical practice. It's very helpful all the time for teachers.